That's my brother!
I mean, if you're Hispanic, like your parents want you to go to college. That's like the biggest thing in like the Hispanic community. If you're not going to school, then you really haven't made it in some type of a way.
Did you think that we would eventually do a documentary on you or not?
I didn't think so. Personally, I feel like I've had a boring life. I've lived a standard life, I guess. You know how so many people do like documentaries about something that's happened. I didn't feel like doing a documentary about me would be entertaining, but here we are. My household was very like strict. For example, be in the house by 6. Don't go too far. My mom needs to see me. She needs to know who I'm going with. But I guess that's kind of because of how she grew up. She grew up in the Dominican Republic. And over there, my grandma was the exact same with her. So I feel like that's why she's acting like that towards me. Growing up, I always like watched movies with my mom. Like every other night, we would have like a movie night in a way. Ever since then, I kind of like the aspect of telling a story and like, I guess, entertaining people. So that's why I've always loved film, and just the fact that you could like capture whatever you want, and thousands of people will watch it, and like you kind of like created that.
Hola familia, un saludo de aquí de República Dominicana.
Yeah.
Not until recently, like I really like talked with my dad. I guess just cause like as a kid, he would always be working. He like worked at McDonald's. That's how he got a job when he first got into America. And then he worked for a cleaning company. He was like best friends with the owner, but the owner was like kind of like ripping him off and like overworking him. So he started his own business, and now to this day, like he has his own cleaning company. Honestly, he doesn't really talk about his past, so I've never really like actually sat down and talked with my dad.
My dad is from Guatemala. My mom is Dominican. I was born here, so I am American, but I'm a big mix of different cultures. When I was young, my parents wanted me to fit in the white community, and that was challenging for me.
My parents wanted to dress me white, wanted me to act white, wanted me to talk white. In middle school, they would always want me to wear like Vineyard Vines or something like that. Kind of dress me up like as a little white kid, even though I had short nappy hair. I'm never gonna be that, And my mom would always claim to be like American. I'm American. I'm, I guess, trying to be like white, even though like barely spoke a lick of English. So I've always thought it was funny that Hispanics in general just want to be what they're not. So I mean, it's kind of hard. I feel like we're viewed as we're lesser than. People would always make jokes like, you're Hispanic, you're either building something, you're like a gardener. I feel like Hispanics just in general, like we laugh at fear in some type of a way. Like we make jokes out of it. I know like a bunch of kids that would be like, oh, ice, 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 and like pretend to run, I guess. And it's kind of funny because at the same time, they're like scared that they're gonna get deported. They try to cover it with humor.
And I truly don't care when it's another Hispanic saying it, because we all go through the same struggle. But maybe that's why my parents sent me to college, to make sure I didn't go through the same struggle that they did.
I would say my family, like they do motivate me just because my mom really wants me to be like successful. Same thing with my dad.
Come on, Brandon, faster, faster!
They don't care what I'm doing as long as I'm good at what I'm doing and if I'm making money. So I've always had their support because otherwise I wouldn't be here. I feel like my goal is make a movie, premiere it at a movie theater and like take my mom and show her like what I made. I wouldn't tell her I made it and, you know, be like, what do you think of it? I see myself as this accomplished filmmaker. The kind that's gonna make my mom proud. But if I'm being honest, I haven't done anything I'm proud of yet. The last film I made in class, it was the worst work I've ever done. And that scares me, to be honest. Because how am I even gonna get there? How do I become that person I keep imagining when I can't even watch my own work without cringing? I don't want to waste all the time and energy my parents put me into getting here just to fail. But I am learning something. To stay true to myself, to acknowledge and accept my reality, to do the work no matter how little, as long as I do it with honesty and vulnerability, like this film. I don't know many things, but I do know this. I embrace my Hispanic identity, and I use it to fuel my journey, no matter where it takes me or who I become.